Little Miss Princess Diane is taking up her position on the high ground. Nap time. Nap time for Miss Princess. Alright. Let's take a look at what we're messing with next here. Bragg Boy's got a Peterbilt rigged up for a tank truck. Ben Dalton's planned for a while to do something like this where he would take a rollback truck and use it for a whole lot of different stuff. So it's rigged up where he could pull his bed on that has a hoist that sets his tanks, sets his septic tanks for that part of work. He's also got a dump truck bed for it, so he can pull the dump truck bed up on it and use it as a dump truck. He's also got a scrap bin we made. I made him a scrap bin out of some junk and some free pipe that was laying around. But they had some trouble with the truck recently. I think it was a transmission and some different stuff. So let's take a look at what we're into with it. You see we're missing a front bumper. The unit that's on here now is the tank truck unit. This is the hoisting system that you set your septic tanks with. This is the bumper that was on the truck. I'm not giving you a very good look at it. You'd probably be better off looking at the other side. This is the bumper that was on the truck. Bumper and a brush guard. Don't really need the brush guard. It's broke. I don't think we're going to fix the brush guard right away, but we need to get the bumper back on it. But the funny thing that happened, they had the truck in with the mechanics getting the transmission fixed or whatever they were doing, and the mechanics put their jack underneath of that bumper and went to lift this truck by the bumper. Look at these bumper brackets. This is cast aluminum. This is cast aluminum, 3 bolts on each side. And as far as a bumper, this right here, even though it's cast aluminum, as far as a bumper, you know, if you had that bumper on there and you bashed into something, this is going to work as a bumper. But it's putting a jack under that bumper and trying to lift up this truck with a Caterpillar engine in it. I mean, does that make sense? Like, I just can't imagine a mechanic doing that. I just can't imagine a mechanic thinking that it was all right to lift a truck like this with a damn Caterpillar motor in it by that bracket. But anyway, we got to get the bumper back on it, and we need to get some brackets on there or something that they can pull on, because they will have to pull on that bumper and they can't pull on this. So that's up next. You better look at the bumper now. I tacked pad eye on there so I can, now I can handle this thing, whatever I need to do. So I get the forklift out of here and get that truck in here. One of the things that I remember that was an issue with this, when this was on the truck, you went to flip the hood open, you couldn't open it all the way. And Dalton said if that bumper could go down 2 inches, then you could open the hood all the way. So that's a couple things to think about, and try and put that back on there 2 inches lower than it was. And you can see here the brackets. Those are those busted off pieces of aluminum, cast aluminum that broke off the brackets on the truck. We talked about TIG welding that cast aluminum back on there, which I'm thinking might be a waste of time. If we're going to reposition this bumper, we may save on TIG welding cast aluminum and just move right on ahead trying to figure out how to do what needs to be done here. I'm thinking in order to lower that down 2 inches like he's wanting to do, this is in the way. So I'm going to take the old plasmatic fire shooting machine and blaze that off there. Got to take a chance here. We can't be screwing with this thing for 2 or 3 days. I got the drill, Miss Princess. Miss Princess Diane. I got the drill, sweetheart. Okay? Trimmed that out. Got the truck in here. And drilled a hole down lower than this hole. And I just stuck those bolts in there and put nuts on them. So this will work like a stud. And the reason I'm doing that, really the first thing I want to do is just get this up on there and hang it up on there and try to open the hood and just see where we're at. And then I gotta, then I can figure out what we're doing. That hood will open with that on there where it is. Damn, it looks low. Measuring from the concrete, it's not any lower than the front axle of the truck. But being in the front like this, it looks low. But the hood will open. That's one thing, is the hood will open. It's still touching the top of the bumper. Like the hood will open, but I don't think I could raise the bumper up. I don't think I could raise it up from there, you know, and have it open right. If you could, it wouldn't be much. I just talked to Dalton, and he mentioned that if we can't put that on there, and that thing is not a good idea just because it sticks down so low, then we got to put something on there. And I said, well, I'm going to take a piece of channel and put on there as a bumper. I don't know what you're going to pull on, but I'll put that on there, because he was saying, well, it's not legal without a bumper. So when I got to thinking of putting the channel on there, then I got the idea, put the channel on there, or put something right here, drill a couple holes in here, and make a bracket to weld to it here, and I could put something to pull on the outside. You're just not going to be able to pull really hard, but you may be able to pull good enough to get you out. Now, ultimately, this entire bracket that's aluminum, it really needs something strong that's steel right here, you know, to pull on it like oil field jerking. But that's major. I mean, we need to take the hood off, the suspension apart, the steering box out, the radiator out. That core support that holds the radiator is in the center here. You know, in order to use those bolts, we'd have to take that apart. I'm not going to do that right now. Let's see what I can do quick and dirty, and I'm going to do this in a way. See, what I'm concerned about is making a bracket that they're going to pull on that's so strong that if they break it, it breaks here where the leaf spring is connected, because then you got a major problem. If you got suspension broke on the front of this truck out there in the dirt, and that Caterpillar engine's sitting on that axle, you're going to need one hell of a tow truck to get you home. But if I put a bolt in right here or something and they snap this off, that's not going to ruin the suspension of the truck. And they might be able to pull on this just hard enough to get out. So I'm going to explore that a little. So let me see what I can do with that idea. Yep, that's how you do that shit. I keep coming up with ideas, you know, that they want something they can pull on, but considering this entire piece right here is cast aluminum, that's not very strong to pull on. And the frame's clear back here and the suspension's in the way. On the other side there's a steering box in the way. Started putting this channel on there. They've got to have a bumper or it's not legal. But how hard they're going to be able to pull on this. This isn't a strong thing to pull on for a truck this size. But can I make it where they can pull on it, you know, a little bit with a mini hoe just to get it out if it's stuck? You know, maybe I can. I didn't think I could, but maybe I can. Maybe I can make it where they can. See, here's the thing. Whatever I fasten on here without going deep into disassembling this, taking this aluminum bracket off and taking this steering box off and really getting in there to the frame, you know, without doing all that, the thing I think I need to do is make sure I only connect to the very end of here, is what I'm thinking. Which that means that this thing's not going to be really strong, you know, to pull on. But the fact is that that cast aluminum bracket that's all one piece. That's where the front leaf spring of this truck's fastened to. That's where this truck suspension's fastened to. If you do this wrong and rip that cast aluminum bracket in two, that Caterpillar engine's gonna be sitting on that axle right there. You got a major fucking problem, especially if you're out in the dirt. So what I'm doing here, I mean, they might be able to pull on this a little bit to get the truck out if it's stuck. But if they rip it off, they're not going to rip the suspension off the front of the truck. If they pull so hard they rip it off, they're just going to break some aluminum off the end of it. So I don't know. I'm going with this idea. Well, that's what I ended up coming up with. An 8-inch channel, 2x2, 3/8 thick angle iron, two by two 1/4-inch wall square tube, couple of 1/2-inch pad eyes with 2-inch holes. Here come Miss Diane. Yes, Miss Princess. So there's 2 bolts here, 2 bolts there. Two bolts there on this bracket. 2 bolts there. This is pretty light duty for a truck this size. I don't like the cast aluminum, this massive cast aluminum bracket. And it's so far from the frame, you know, the steel frame, so far away. All those old bolts in there, those bolts, you know, to get a bracket bolted to those and take those bolts out, they've been in there for over 30 years probably. I think you'd have to cut them off or heat the nuts, or, you know, you'd have to do some serious heating and beating and dealing with the radiator being there and the wiring and all these different things that we just I don't think we want to take time to mess with that right now, and I don't want to risk doing something that causes this truck to be broke down right now. They were wanting, you know, they got to have a bumper for it to be legal, and they were wanting something they can pull on. Like I say, this is light duty for a truck this size, but considering the little hoe that they pull on it with, it's a Bobcat 55E. I mean, it ain't that tiny, but This might very well, if they use their head, this might very well hold everything that little hoe will pull. And it would definitely help pull the truck out when it gets stuck if it just needs a little help. It's not what I'm used to with oil field bumpers. You know, they're built like this. Oil field bumpers that are built like this with 1-inch pad eyes and massive steel plating with multiple bolts that go in the steel frame of a truck. We're nowhere near that with what I've done here, but I got it knocked out and I'm hoping it's going to work, and I'm going to call it done on that. So that's that.